God, just get dressed.
I never thought I would be writing this, but 3 months ago, I walked into my apartment and found my boyfriend of 4 years in bed with my best friend since childhood, and what happened after that moment changed everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and forgiveness. Let me start from the beginning, because this story has more twists than I ever could have imagined, and I am still processing all of it, even now. My name is Emma, and I am 28 years old. I met Jake when I was 24 at a mutual friend's bar back, and from the first moment we talked, I felt like I had found my person. He was charming, funny, attentive, and made me feel like the most important woman in the world. We moved in together after 6 months and started planning our future together, marriage, kids, the whole dream, and I actually believed it was all real. My best friend Olivia had been in my life since we were 7 years old. We grew up on the same street, rode our bikes together every summer, had sleepovers every weekend, and told each other absolutely everything. She was the sister I never had, and I trusted her with my deepest secrets, my biggest fears, and eventually, with meeting the man I thought I would marry. When I introduced Jake and Olivia, I was so excited because I wanted my two favorite people to get along, and they did. They got along so well that they would text each other funny memes throughout the day. They had inside jokes. They would grab drinks together when I was running late from work, and I thought it was wonderful. I thought I was so lucky to have a boyfriend who actually liked my best friend, because I had heard so many stories about partners who hated their girlfriends. Friends, but not Jake. He loved Olivia and she loved him. And I loved that they loved each other. Looking back now, I can see all the signs. I missed the way they would exchange glances across the dinner table when they thought I was not paying attention, the way Olivia always seemed to know what Jake was thinking before he said it. The weekend, Olivia told me she was visiting her sister in Boston, while Jake said he had a fishing trip with his college buddies, and I found out later they had actually rented a cabin together upstate. The times Jake would come home smelling like Olivia's perfume, and I would just assume they had hugged goodbye when he dropped something off at her apartment for me. The affair had been going on for 8 months, 8 entire months of lies and secret meetings and stolen moments, while I was at work or traveling for business or sleeping peacefully in our bed, thinking everything was perfect. They had built an entire relationship behind my back, complete with romantic dinners and weekend getaways, and plans for a future that did not include me. I found out on a Tuesday afternoon I was supposed to be in Chicago for a work conference until Thursday, but my biggest client canceled our meeting at the last minute, so I caught an earlier flight home. I was actually excited to surprise Jake. I stopped at his favorite Thai restaurant on the way home from the airport and picked up all his favorite dishes. I was imagining his face when he saw me walk through the door early, and how we would spend the evening cuddled up on the couch watching movies and eating pad thai. I unlocked the apartment door quietly because I wanted the surprise to be perfect, and that is when I heard noises coming from our bedroom. Noises that made my stomach drop and my heart start racing, because I knew exactly what those sounds meant. But my brain refused to accept it, refused to believe that Jake would do that to me in our home, in our bed. I walked down the hallway like I was moving through water. Everything felt slow and surreal, and when I pushed open the bedroom door, I saw them tangled together in the sheets I had washed just 2 days before. Olivia's red hair spread across my pillow, Jake's hand on her back, and for a moment I just stood there, frozen, because my brain could not process what my eyes were seeing. They saw me at the same time, and the look of horror on both their faces would have been funny if it was not. Destroying my entire world, Olivia screamed and grabbed the sheet to cover herself. Jake jumped up so fast he tripped over his jeans on the floor, and they both started talking at once. Emma, I can explain. Emma, please wait. Emma, we never meant for this to happen. Emma, I love you. Emma, please don't go. But I did not go. I just stood there, and very calmly, very quietly, I said, get out, both of you get out of my apartment right now, and I want every single thing that belongs to either of you gone by tomorrow. My voice did not sound like my voice. It sounded like a stranger, someone cold and hard and completely devoid of emotion, because I think something inside me just shut down in that moment, like my heart built a wall around itself to survive the pain. They tried to talk to me, tried to explain, tried to apologize, but I just kept repeating, get out, get out, get out, until finally they grabbed their clothes and stumbled out of my apartment, and the second the door closed behind them, I collapsed onto the floor and sobbed harder than I have ever cried in my entire life. I called my sister Lauren, and she came over immediately. She held me while I cried and helped me box up every single thing that belonged to Jake, his clothes, his books, his stupid vinyl record collection that he was so proud of, his toothbrush, his favorite coffee mug, everything we worked through the night. And by sunrise, there were 15 boxes stacked in the hallway, and my apartment looked like a completely different place. The next few days were a blur. I called in sick to work. I could not eat, could not sleep, could not do anything except lie on my couch and stare at the ceiling, trying to understand how I had been so blind, so stupid, so completely unaware that the two people I loved most in the world were betraying me every single day. For 8 months, my phone would not stop ringing. Texts and calls from both Jake and Olivia begging me to talk to them too, let them explain, to give them a chance to make things right. But I blocked both their numbers because there was nothing they could say that would make any of this okay. Nothing that would undo the betrayal, or erase the images burned into my brain, or fix the gaping hole where my heart used to be. About a week later, Lauren convinced me to meet her for coffee. She said I needed to get out of the apartment, needed fresh air, needed to remember that there was still a world outside my grief. So I agreed, and we went to this little cafe near my place, and I was actually starting to feel slightly better when Olivia walked through the door. She saw me immediately, and before I could grab my purse and leave, she rushed over to our table. Emma, please, she said, her voice shaking. I need to talk to you. There is something you need to know. I told her there was nothing left to say, but she grabbed my arm and said, please, just 5 minutes. I am begging you. This is important. Lauren stood up, ready to physically remove Olivia if necessary, but something in Olivia's face made me pause. She looked terrible, like she had not slept in days. Her eyes were swollen from crying. She had lost weight, and despite everything, despite how much I hated her in that moment, I was curious about what could possibly be so urgent. Fine, I said, 5 minutes. Olivia sat down across from me and took a shaky breath, and then she said the words that made everything so much worse. I am pregnant, Emma. It is Jake's baby. For a second, I thought I had misheard her, because that could not be real. That could not be happening. But then she pulled out her phone with trembling hands and showed me ultrasound pictures dated from 2 weeks earlier. She was 12 weeks along, which meant she had gotten pregnant in the middle of their affair, while I was planning our wedding, while I was picking out bridesmaid dresses, while I was completely clueless about what was happening right under my nose. I felt like I was going to be sick. This was not just an affair anymore. This was a baby, a permanent connection between them, a child who would exist as a constant reminder of their betrayal. I asked her why she was telling me this, and she said because Jake wants nothing to do with the baby. He told her to terminate the pregnancy, and when she refused, he blocked her number and has not spoken to her since. So, let me understand this. I said you slept with my boyfriend behind my back for 8 months. You got pregnant with his child, and now you are coming to me because he abandoned you too. She started crying harder, saying she never meant to hurt me, that she was scared and alone and did not know what to do, and I told her that was not my problem anymore. She made her choices, and now she had to live with the consequences just like I was living with mine. And then I got up and walked out. 2 weeks passed and I was finally starting to feel like maybe I could survive this, maybe I could rebuild my life and move forward. And then I got a call from Jake's mother, Carol, telling me that Jake had been in a serious car accident. He was alive but in the hospital with multiple broken bones and a severe concussion. I did not know what to feel. Part of me felt terrible because despite everything I am not a monster and I did not want him to be hurt, but another part of me felt absolutely nothing like Jake was just some stranger I used to know. Carol asked if I would come visit him at the hospital because he had been asking for me, and I almost laughed at the audacity. I told her I appreciated the call, but Jake was not my responsibility anymore, but curiosity got the better of me. A few days later I found myself walking into his hospital room. He was lying there with his leg in a cast, bandages covering half his face, looking absolutely pitiful. When he saw me, his whole face lit up. "Emma, you came," he said, and his voice cracked. "I am not here for a reunion, Jake," I said. "I am here because your mother called, and I wanted to see for myself that you are okay, so I can have closure and move on with my life." His face fell and he started apologizing, saying he had ruined everything and made the biggest mistake of his life and wished he could take it all back. I asked him if it was true that he told Olivia to get rid of the baby, and he looked away, ashamed, and nodded. That is when something inside me snapped. I walked up to his hospital bed and looked him directly in the eyes. "You know what the saddest part about all of this is, Jake," I said. "It is not even that you cheated on me. It is that you are a coward. You had an affair with my best friend for 8 months. You got her pregnant, and then when there were actual consequences, you ran away from both of us. You are not a man. You are a scared little boy who only thinks about himself." He started crying then, actual tears rolling down his face, but I did not care. I told him I hoped he would learn something from this, that maybe someday he would grow up and become someone worthy of real love, but that person would never be me. And then I walked out of that hospital room, and I have not seen or spoken to him since. A month later, I ran into Olivia at the grocery store. She was showing now clearly pregnant, and we made eye contact across the produce section for a moment. I thought about just leaving, but something made me walk over to her instead. We stood there awkwardly, and then she asked how I was doing. I told her I was surviving, taking it day by day, trying to rebuild, and then I surprised myself by asking how she was doing with the pregnancy. She broke down right there in the middle of the grocery store. She told me she was terrified, that she was completely alone, that her parents had disowned her when they found out what she did because they loved me like a daughter, that Jake wanted nothing to do with the baby, and she did not know how she was going to do this. I should have felt vindicated. I should have felt like she was getting exactly what she deserved, but instead, I felt something unexpected. I felt sorry for her. "Look," I said, "what you did to me was unforgivable. I am never going to forget it, and we are never going to be friends again, but that baby did not do anything wrong, so I am going to give you my doctor's number and the contact information for a single mom's support group, and then I am going to walk away, but at least I will know I did not let my anger hurt an innocent child." She stared at me in shock and kept saying thank you over and over through her tears. I wrote down the information, handed it to her, and left. I did not do it for her. I did it for me because holding onto all that rage was exhausting, and I did not want to be the kind of person who let bitterness consume them. That was 2 months ago. I heard through my sister that Olivia had the baby last week, a little girl, and she is doing okay as a single mother. Jake apparently moved to a different city, probably running away from his problems like he always does. And me, I am doing well. I started therapy, which has been life-changing. I joined a book club and made new friends. I started dating again, nothing serious. Just coffee and getting to know people and remembering how to trust. I got a promotion. At work, I redecorated my entire apartment, so it feels like mine and not ours. The betrayal still hurts. Some days are harder than others. I still have moments where something reminds me of them and I feel that familiar ache, but those moments are becoming less frequent. What I learned from all of this is that people will surprise you in terrible ways and in wonderful ways. Jake and Olivia surprised me by showing me who they really were before I married him. Before I had children with him, before I invested even more of my life into someone unworthy. But I also surprised myself by being stronger than I ever thought possible, by choosing forgiveness. Not for them, but for myself, by refusing to let their mistakes define my future. I learned that closure does not come from other people. It comes from within, from deciding you deserve better and actually believing it, from choosing to move forward instead of staying stuck. If you are reading this and going through something similar, please know it gets better, not all at once, not in some magical moment where everything is suddenly fine, but gradually, day by day, you will start to feel like yourself again. Surround yourself with people who truly love you. My sister Lauren was my rock through all of this. She showed up for me every single day until I was strong enough to stand on my own. Find your people, the ones who sit with you in your pain without trying to fix it, the ones who remind you of your worth. When you have forgotten, do not be afraid to feel everything. Cry, scream, write angry letters you never send, do whatever you need to process the pain. Keeping it bottled up will only make it worse. And here is what surprised me most. Even though what they did was awful, I am actually grateful in a strange way, because it showed me who they really were before it was too late. It showed me I am stronger than I knew. It forced me to make changes I should have made years ago. It gave me a fresh start. I am not saying everything happens for a reason. I am saying that even painful experiences can teach us something. They can show us what we are made of. They can help us grow into better versions of ourselves. So yes, my best friend stole my boyfriend and got pregnant, and it devastated me, but I survived. I am surviving, and I am going to be more than okay, because I am learning to love myself in ways I never did before. I am learning to set boundaries and stand up for myself. I am learning that I do not need someone else to complete me, because I am already whole. If Jake and Olivia taught me anything, it is that you can only truly count on yourself, that trust must be earned, not freely given, that actions speak louder than words, that forgiveness is for you, not for them, that healing takes time, and that is perfectly okay. I do not know what the future holds. Maybe I will meet someone and try love again. Maybe I will stay single and focus on myself. Maybe years from now I will see them and feel nothing, or maybe I will always carry a small scar. Either way, I am going to be okay. To anyone who has been betrayed, please know you are not alone. Your feelings are valid. Your pain is real, and you are so much stronger than you think. You will get through this. You will rebuild. You will love again. When you are ready, you will laugh. You will trust. It will not happen overnight, but it will happen. And to Jake and Olivia, if you somehow read this, I hope you have learned from your mistakes. I hope you have grown. I hope Jake steps up for his daughter. I hope Olivia becomes a good mother. I genuinely hope you find happiness someday, but that happiness will never include me, and I am completely at peace with that. As for me, I am choosing to focus on the good, on second chances, on new beginnings, on the fact that I am free from a relationship that was not right and a friendship that was toxic, on the beautiful life I am building one day at a time. This was not the story I thought I would be writing, but it is my story now, and I am taking back control. I am not the girl who got cheated on. I am the woman who survived and came out stronger. And that is what shocked everyone most of all, including me.